Mississippi, 1964. 3 civil rights workers are missing. There's public outcry, and President Lyndon Johnson urges the FBI to find the bodies, but the FBI has turned up no leads. They know the KKK is behind the disappearances, but no one in Mississippi will talk. Maybe the FBI needs to get a little unconventional. Maybe they got to send in somebody to make them talk. Welcome to the Sitdown. Hey, how we doing, guys? We're back for another episode with a fantastic story for you. I'm really excited about this. This is going to be a great episode.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm late, by the way.
Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. I appreciate you coming to my house.
Oh, yeah. It's a lovely home.
It's a very lovely home in Long Island City, Queens.
Sean Donnelly is our guest today. And
hello there, everybody. How are you?
Hey.
I'm sorry I'm late because I'm driving from Jersey. I was in Ohio the night before. I stopped in Jersey at my parents' house, and I used Apple Maps, which I never use.
Yeah,
and they take me through from Trenton, New Jersey to your place. They take me through Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah, Apple Maps screws up all the time.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I didn't realize that. I always use Google Maps.
Oh yeah, if you pump in an address to Apple Maps, sometimes it'll just take you. It'll put that it doesn't exist. Like it'll be like I did one. It was one time it was an address on Fifth Avenue, and they took me to like Kansas. Like it's like one of those kind of things. And they wouldn't, no matter how many times you typed it in, it wouldn't tell you that it wouldn't register. Yeah, sometimes it just sucks.
Yeah. Ever since, like, I'm glad Steve Jobs is in hell. But,
he probably is in hell.
He's probably in hell.
Well, here's the thing. That's another thing. You want to talk about mobster. He was kind of a mobster.
Right.
He was like a tyrant. Like I was, like there was a woman who literally, I was watching a documentary about Steve Jobs, and this woman, he fired her 3 times. She was like this. She was like,
oh my God.
And he was like, I don't like,
Mr. Jobs, you fired me?
Mr. Jobs. No, she was like
commissioned Nick Mullen do his day laborer voice, by the way.
What? No, what is it?
Nick does these like day laborer characters, and it's like so fun. I went to Taco Bell last night, and the guy who rang me up like sounded like one of Nick's day laborer characters. I almost lost it laughing. I tipped the guy $1 because I felt so bad, just because I was like cracking up.
Did you laugh at the guy's face?
Voice.
Because I'm pretty sure that's a
I suppressed it. I think it is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you have to. He's gonna hashtag me too this online.
He probably is. Yeah. He probably could read my. These Comptown fans keep bothering me.
He's asking for it working at a Taco Bell.
But no, but Jobs was like not a great guy.
He was a tyrant, right?
There was a woman who she was like freelance for him, and then he fired. He goes, "I don't like the work you're doing, and get out, and you're fired." And she goes, "All right, you owe me $10,000."
Can I have no mop before I go?
And she goes, "You owe me $10,000." And he goes.
He owed her $10,000.
Yeah, he goes, "No, I'm not giving it to you." And then she goes back and she goes, "Well, I have relationships with all the papers. So I'll give an interview. It's not like I'll tell them how you are."
Yeah.
And the next day he hired her back and gave her money. Like he hired her back and gave the money he owed her.
Yeah.
Because he apparently that was his number one thing, was being thought of as like an asshole.
So he's not even a real gangster.
No, he's kind of a pussy, I guess.
Yeah.
But he was not a good guy, apparently.
So what we should do is we should do a Steve Jobs episode, and we compare him to like the worst gangsters, and we find out.
Yeah.
We actually realize that Steve Jobs is a bigger piece of shit.
Probably.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, because at least a lot of these guys, like, didn't he like not talk to his daughter for like 14 years?
Yeah,
at least these mobsters like go home and like take care of their kids.
Yeah. They watch TV.
They're
with
great
them.
parents.
They're like covered in blood, and they come home and they like,
They come home with gabagool and a blood-soaked shirt. He's like, "You want to watch SpongeBob Sweetheart? All right."
Exactly. Frank couldn't be here today, but like that last episode we did, I made this joke about like, because Sonny Franzese was like, when you have to dispose a body, take the extra half hour. He's like, he told people like, wear a hairnet. Wear a hairnet. Use nail polish.
I hope you do that every episode, that you have a quote, a really messed up quote from every mobster out there. That'd be fantastic.
Well, I had this joke.
When you're burying a body, take the extra half hour. It's almost like the Martha Stewart of... He's the Martha Stewart of mobsters. When I'm burying bodies, I like to take an extra half hour.
Well, I just imagine him going to like Costco or something. He's buying like nail polish, a hairnet, and he's like, no, it's for a body. I'm not some fag.
No, don't think I'm just a murderer. I'm not a gay guy.
There's a body draining in my kiddie pool. No, but I just want to say, so you would think Jersey to Queens, you would go Verrazano Bridge through Staten Island, BQE, and then up to here.
But I know what happened. You went through Midtown, you said, right? They took you through Midtown.
It took me through 57th Street, Boyfucker Avenue. I had to drive down.
Oh man, it's like Avenue of Americas.
all that street is rich boy fuckers.
You mean
Who are
like
getting away with
in
it?
Hollywood, rich Hollywood boy fuckers?
Yeah, that's just all the wealth and
Oh, that is Rockefeller boy fuckers right there.
Yeah.
But no, it's also, it never takes you less than 45 minutes to get across town doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what it does? Basically, what happens is whenever you type in the address, what it's doing is like, hey, right now it says like
Right
it's
now,
half a second quicker, so it gives you that map and then just doesn't switch it.
That's what's happening. It kept updating and updating, and Google Maps doesn't do that.
No, it just has the path.
Yeah.
Waze is actually the best one, but then
Google Maps bought Waze, right?
so it's not as good as it was. But it's, I think they're back on track a little bit. Like it's still better than Apple Maps.
Yeah. Apple Maps is still garbage, right?
It's not good.
It's not good.
As
Not
seen
good.
today. As seen today.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about being late. Everybody's late all the time. It's like there's no need for apology.
It just kept updating. I mean, the only way you win in this city is to never leave your fucking house.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Oh, yeah. The minute you get on any kind of road in a car in the city, there's no point.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no point.
Yeah.
I had a guy.
Not just a car. I mean, the train, too. It's just like...
The train takes forever as well, yeah. Well, look at yesterday. There was a bomb that went off in the freaking Midtown. But even like, dude, like, you know
I'm
what
just going to be a
is?
podcaster for the rest of my life. I'll just live in one room. I'll shit in the corner. I'll just never have to get out in the city.
It's like you're
and
in
drive or
solitary.
anything.
But you're self-imposed
So
solitary.
today we're talking.
your own imposed witness relocation program.
Yeah, but my podcast gets so good, I get to interview the president. So like, President Lena Dunham comes to interview me to my shit-filled room. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Lena Dunham.
Sean, I'm so glad you're here because we got a great story today.
Yeah, it's
This
a
guy
really
is
good
like-
one.
Thank you for watching that documentary. We appreciate
No
it.
problem. I will never turn down watching anything mafia related. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the genre.
Yeah.
And this
I
was
thought
like
about having Farrah on. Sean is the host of the Defend Your Movie podcast, and he does a show with our friend Farrah Brooke.
Yeah.
And I was like, should I have her on? But then she's like, she doesn't seem like it's her thing, really.
I don't think it is mobsters. I think she could
it's
get
just
into
men
it.
who kill each other.
Yeah, that's what she would say. It's just misogynistic murders. Like, what? All right. Well, what other kind of murders are there?
Right.
No, she. I think she could be open minded to it. I think definitely she could do it. But then she'd probably get mad at him for like cheating on his wife, like more than the murders.
Yeah.
She'd be like, yeah, but he cheated on his wife. It's like, yeah, but he also killed 100 people. She's
But
like,
if you want
but
to-
still.
Yeah.
Right. But if you want to talk about cheating on his wife, I mean, he was great at it. He had 2 families. We'll get into that later. But he didn't just cheat on his wife. It's a lot of work.
He pulled a Roy Moore. Didn't he marry a 17-year-old or something? Or that's another thing you find out. It's like, if you know all the stuff that's going on now, it's like when you listen to all these old stories, it's kind of funny. Well, this one's funny
just what
because
they did.
Even when he met his wife, he was 21, she was 17.
Yeah.
And even now that would be like, people are like, oh, that's weird.
Kind of weird, yeah.
And then it was like, and then I guess he was older. You're
Yeah.
gonna get kids, and then the second woman he met was 17 when she met him.
Yeah.
So it's like, was he a murderer and a pedophile, or was he just into 17-year-olds? You know.
Well, 17 is basically an adult. Anyway. But it's so funny. Like when you watch old movies and there's like a love interest, it's always like Cary Grant, who was probably like 56, and like some 17-year-old who like died of an overdose. You know, it's never like. It's never somebody, his age is his counter.
No, it's never like
Even today, it's kind of like that.
It's never Dame Judi Dench,
Right.
It's not that at all. And those movies. Well, look at Raging Bull. Look who he's into. What's her name? That's Kathy. What's her name? The actress.
Kathy Moriarty.
Moriarty.
Yeah.
When she filmed that, she was like 17.
Yeah.
She was like 18.
Yeah.
In the movie, she's like 18. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I think I heard a story. They told Maggie Gyllenhaal she was too young to play, or she was too old to play George Clooney's love interest or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
In which movie? In
I don't know.
Oh my! I heard a story.
Recently,
I heard like one of those urban myth stories that I don't know if it's true or not. That they right after Cameron Diaz, like this is like 15 years ago, and they were proven wrong. I guess they called her into her whole team, her industry team, called her in and was like, "Okay, you have 3 years left to make movies. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like you have 2 years left." Or something.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What?" And I guess she was shot. And they're like, "Yeah, that you have 2 years left on your shelf life. What?"
It's
what
like
do you
people
wanna
that
do?
you trust, like they went to your wedding and shit like that. And you're like,
It's like getting stabbed in the
you
back.
whore. Yeah, you old whore.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, Cameron Diaz, we're fans. Come
I
on
like
the
Cameron.
podcast.
Cameron, come on the podcast. She's got to be into mafia-related stuff.
Podcasting is the future, isn't it?
I think it's already. We're in it.
Anybody can do it. Yeah.
Anybody can do it.
It's the only way guys like the three of us are going to have any kind of success.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. Yeah, my time is done. What, are you kidding me? I'm already bald and fat and gray bearded. My beard is almost all gray.
See, that's depressing because my hair started turning gray when I was like 24. But
Do
when
you color
it? No. When the beard starts going gray, that's when it's
all gray. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to shave it at that point. Yeah. I wrote online the other day.
Just
I was
shave it
like,
and make it into a blanket for like
I'm making into a Sherpa blanket.
Yeah.
I literally the other day as a joke online, I was like, hey, should I shave my beard? Not even as a joke. I was like, should I shave my beard?
Yeah.
The amount of people that were like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, a lot of people don't want to see my face.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, here's what I want to talk about. So a lot of times with superheroes and supervillains, we talk about origin stories. And so Greg Scarpa was a guy who he was from a working class neighborhood in Bensonhurst. He was the second of 7 kids. And have you been to Bensonhurst?
I have.
It's very like that area, like Bensonhurst, Bay Ridge. It's kind of like
it's old school Brooklyn. Oh,
yeah.
It's not exciting.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's just residential. It's just regular. It's not like Williamsburg.
There's
where
no parking. You almost feel a little trapped, you know?
Oh, sure.
If you live in Bay Ridge, it means you settled.
Also,
it means I'll have a driveway someday and then I can die.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all
also,
that
it means
is.
like each block is about 14 years apart. You know what I'm saying? Like you're walking, has those giant blocks where if you walk down by Shore Road in Bay Ridge, you're like, it's 3 blocks down that way. 4 years later, you're like, okay, that was way too long.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean. It's like, but here's the thing, man. Back when this was going on, like when Greg Scarpa's family moved in there from like, I guess they moved from Italy to like Bensonhurst, right? Is that where they're from? Was his parents from Italy and they moved to Bensonhurst?
Yeah, they were from northern Italy.
Okay, and they moved to Bensonhurst.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it wasn't part of the city. Like it's full on.
Sure.
Like that was almost the American dream. Like to have a tiny house in Bensonhurst was like, oh my God, we've won. You know?
Ron Bennington told me they had vacation homes in like Bay Ridge.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, in the early days, that's where people vacation.
I think also in Long Island. Like I think if you went to Long Island, it was like a vacation.
Yeah, my girlfriend lived down there forever, and you really do feel like you're away from success. You're like wherever success is, it's not here.
Yeah.
And I think that does have something to do with like when you look around and everybody is like busting their ass and they're hunched over and the only people doing well in your neighborhood are the wise guys. I mean, obviously it makes you want to.
Yeah, if you see it, it's almost like how Bronx Tale is when he sees Sonny and he's like, oh, he's so much cooler than my dad's busting his ass and gets nothing.
Yeah.
And Sonny, he's making so much money and he's so cool with his suits and everything. Yeah. It's like watching rock stars like live 2 doors down from you.
Yeah.
You know?
By the way, DiStefano told me the funniest story about Chaz Palminteri.
What did it?
Because he shot his pilot.
Can you say the story?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
I guess I can say it. Well, so he was like, he just said that Chaz Palminteri was really mad that Verizon lets you press 2 for Spanish. And he was like, that was fucking bullshit. I called every politician I knew, and I was like, you got to get rid of this shit. He's like, you don't speak English, you don't deserve a fucking cell phone. We're keeping that in. I don't care. He can sue us. Also, he's got a point, you know? All right.
Yeah, it's not like Mike agrees with it. Mike's like, thank God somebody thinks like I do.
No, I'm just saying, I want to keep that steady. He said, there was some other actress on there, Sally something or whatever. She was from Designing Women, older Southern lady. She was like, yeah, I've been saying the same thing. He's calling his
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts.
That was the mom on Chris's pilot.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah, she played his mom. Oh, she said that? She was like, I've been saying the same thing?
I'm saying the same thing.
See, that's how you get Trump voters in every state because they bond on stuff like that.
Jesus Christ.
Just think about Annie Potts of Southern, Chad Palminteri.
Hey, Governor Christie. Is
It's
this
also
Representative Nydia Velasquez from the Queens District?
It's also such an old person thing. Like, he's not talking about like immigration reform. He's talking about literally dialing 2 on the phone. Like, it's that's such an old person thing to get mad about. You know what I mean?
You get to press 1.
Yeah. It's not like they put you to 2.
They could just say you could press 1 and not even have to hear it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, why are you waiting long enough where you're hearing in Espanol hit dos?
Yeah. So here's what I think might have been Scarpa's origin story, where it's like he was the second oldest kid in his family. And at the age of 7, he had to help his father deliver coal.
Right.
He's a little 7-year-old hobbling around delivering coal, like backbreaking work.
You know what I just realized? He's not just an origin story for a superhero. He's a mafia Rudy. He's like Rudy from the movie Rudy, because he had that crazy job at that mill, like whatever it was.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Rudy.
Sorry, but I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I just feel like there's certain jobs in life where you get to a point, because I mean, I was a mover for like 7 years. You just get to a point where you're like, fuck this, I'll do anything else. And when you don't have other options, that's what you do.
You go towards the mafia stuff, you're saying?
Yeah. Or you go into crime, or you join ISIS, or whatever's available to you.
Yeah, I would say that.
know?
But don't you think if you were hauling coal all day?
Don't you think it's fun being in ISIS? You get to ride around in a truck. You get to ride around in a truck with a machine gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would look way more appealing than lugging coal.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree.
I bet there's a young boy somewhere like tending to his father's like goats. His father got killed by a drone somewhere.
Yeah.
And he just sees ISIS go by. And it's just like, hey,
someday,
so much fun.
Someday I will be in that group.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows? But that's got to fuck a kid up, right? Delivering coal at the age of 7.
Yeah. Also, it's got to fuck a kid's lungs up at the age of 7. You just sound like Harvey Firestein by the age of 9.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, I can't take this job.
To go to the kid. I want some candy.
Dad, can't do this gig anymore. Sorry. I'm going to murder people for a living. It's healthier for me.
Oh, wow, a cup and ball. It's Christmas morning.
Oh, hey, Daddy, it's my birthday. You got me oh, wow, it's marbles. Oh, you got me some jacks? The kids at the playground will love these.
Is this a tricycle? Thank you.
Oh, it's one of those wheels with that stick thing?
Wait, what are you talking about?
You ever saw that toy they played in like the 20s? It was literally just a
just
metal
wheel
wheel,
and stick.
and then you push the wheel with the stick.
I'm the happiest boy in all of Bensonhurst.
I love you, Daddy. I'll haul coal for until I die of dysentery or one of those old-timey diseases.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so Scarpa's older brother was already kind of like involved in the life, and Scarpa got into it eventually. And at 6 feet tall and 200 pounds, Greg was the muscle that they needed. So Charlie Lo Cicero was a guy from the I think the Colombo family. He calls in Scarpa for a sit down at a Bensonhurst club. He also thought Greg was business savvy and had muscle to back it up, so he took Scarpa under his wing. That's a funny thing about Greg is like he made it very far in the Colombo family. He was like, I think he made it to underboss.
Well, right
eventually.
away. He also ran his own crew when he was 21.
Yeah.
That's huge because when
Yeah.
Because when
lot of
Henry
these guys-
Hill is 21 in Goodfellas, which is like, you know, the gold standard for all this mafia stuff, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
That's when he goes to the Copacabana. He's like supposed to be 21 at that point.
Yeah.
When really they go to the Copacabana. And I think he's just like, he's not even made yet. He's nothing. Well, he can't be made, but he's also not even at the point where he would be made. So to run your own crew at 21 in the mafia, that seems like, that's a go-getter right there. That's upper mobility. That's great.
You know what's funny? I saw Henry Hill on a podcast, and it's like these people, like these like Jersey kind of, you know, like trash bags, like interviewing him.
Yeah.
And, you know, Henry Hill, he's dead now. But they keep like, they're asking him questions, and they're like talking over him and like all this shit. I
Just let
felt
him
so
talk.
bad for Henry Hill. I'm like, that poor man.
Well, you do feel bad for when you
just
hear
these-
him talk.
Yeah. It's just like 3 people you would see at like a Jersey open mic. They somehow got Henry Hill on their show.
They're like, no, Henry, let me tell you about you. Henry, have you been to Maria's?
What do you like better? You like Applebee's or TGI Fridays? Who's got the better chicken fingers?
Henry, you want to come to the diner with us after this?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't
Okay.
even wait for the answer. They just cut them off with what they like.
Yeah, he's dying. So yeah, Scarpa was good with numbers and better with his fist. This is what I want to say. Even like he's a captain and he's still doing hits and he's still beating people up. He just loved a lot of the guys we talk about seem to be like that.
He's hands-on, they call it, I think.
Yeah, he's hands-on. He's hands-on, but he doesn't
collar.
have to be.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man.
You can be a captain and just collect money, and that's it. You don't have to go out and do murders.
Well, I, put it this way. I had a boss, when I used to be a doorman, I had a boss who, the guy who was the super of the building, everybody, all the guys who worked there hated him because he wasn't hands-on. He wouldn't go see the. He was like what you're saying a captain does.
He led from the rear.
He led from the rear. He would just call up the handyman and send him down.
Yeah.
He would do no FaceTime.
Okay.
So all the tenants hated him.
But
so there's like advantages of being hands on.
Mm-hmm. But to look at it from a comedy perspective, I mean, this is like a guy who like. You know, he's had like an hour special and he's doing a pine box open mic just because he loves it. Like, you don't have to be
That
here.
is a deep cut right there. That is a very inside baseball.
No, I know. But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
You don't have
exactly.
to be killing people at a certain point.
You've climbed the ladder.
Yeah. So in 1949, Lo Cicero wanted to introduce Scarpa to the family, but it turned out Scarpa's family was from northern Italy, which was a problem. The mob was traditionally run by Italians from Sicily. But I guess Greg was too good of an earner that it didn't matter.
And also, I don't know where the rules are for this. Not to interrupt you again, I'm sorry, but like,
no, please.
The rules are for, where are the rules? Because it's so funny when they try to pretend like, oh, these rules of they had in the mafia.
Yeah.
They changed on like a daily basis.
They're like, no fucking another guy's wife. All right. All right. It depends what she looks like. Depends how tight a pussy is. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you had guys like, then they had like, look at
It's so
Goodfellas.
fun, yeah.
They had half Irish guys in there. I think they even worked with, they worked with black guys. They worked with everybody.
Of course,
so it's like, stop pretending like there was this code when you were like, if you were making money off somebody, you would just be like, okay, all right, I guess we can bend the rules. Go back to the rule book.
Don't bring any blacks around the club except for Jerry. He's okay.
Yeah. I mean, the only like hard and fast rule is like you're not allowed to talk to the cops, you know?
Which he also did. We'll get into that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which he also, you would think, all right, so the question
Matt, would
is.
you talk to the cops if this podcast got pinched, if we were doing an illegal podcast?
No, I don't think so. I mean, at least that's what I would have to say right now.
Do you ever organize your friends that way? I sure do. I go,
who would rat on
I
you?
take all my friends and I go, who would rat and who would...
Well, where am I? I'm friends with you. Where do I lie on that chart?
I don't think you would rat. I don't think you would.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't rat on you.
Thank you, buddy.
Saint Germain would rat before he was asked to.
He would just go in and just try to hang out with the cops and go, guys, I got something to tell you. I know you didn't ask me, but Mike's been killing people.
Some shitty cop is like, your first Fallon set was pretty underrated. He's like,
well, thanks. I got some information on all my friends.
Oh my God.
Hey, whatever you want. Call me anytime. First off, before I talk, what'd you guys think of Insecurity?
Insecurity. Who cares?
Fucking maniac. People know who Dan Saint Germain is.
Listen, I just feel like Superior Donuts is saying stuff that nobody else is.
No, that actually is a legit thing.
It's a good show. Yeah.
Oh, I've never watched it.
I haven't either.
That's how good friends we
Well,
are.
are we required to watch all our friends' shows?
No.
Yeah.
Do you watch your friends' sets when they're going on stage?
No, absolutely
Exactly. And you're right there in the room.
Yeah.
It just, but remember there was a time when you would watch when someone got like a TV thing and you watch all your.
I'll watch late night sets because I enjoy watching them, especially if it's especially if it's a friend like Dina's. I just watched Dina's Shem's, and I enjoy, and it was great, great. I watch it more like I have more interest, but I'll watch that. But like I just haven't watched. If Dan was on the show, I'd watch it definitely.
Yeah. So in 1949, Scarpa gets married, and he has a daughter named Debbie and a boy named Greg Jr. Greg Jr. actually joined the Colombo family and started working for them. And but before Scarpa could be inducted into the mob, he would have to commit a murder, which is weird. To be made, you have to kill somebody. Do they ever run out of people to kill?
Shouldn't everybody in the mafia be dead if that's the case?
Yeah.
I don't know. But the weird part is,
I mean, there's a lot of people. Yeah.
It also shows you how much he embraced what he was doing. Like, it wasn't like he was trying to turn it off around his family. Because they were talking about how good of a provider he was and how good of a dad he was. But it's like, well, if your kid joined the mafia, are you really that good of a dad? Like, he's like, I know this is bloodshed and I've almost gotten killed and it's whatever. But kid, why don't you follow dad's footsteps?
Right. In the summer of 1953, Scarpa fucked a man to death. I'm just kidding. Oh, my God. They're like, you could just use the gun, Greg.
And he's like, nah, I got bored.
I'm going to play a clip of him, like an audio clip. It's crazy the way he talks and everything.
I haven't heard him talk. That's why I was going to watch that interview, but then you guys showed up.
Yeah, he's great. He's got a big gold chain. I'm sure we're all jealous of.
You know he has an above ground pool.
Above ground pool, yeah.
Better taxes.
There's no way he doesn't have a above ground pool.
Yeah.
Are you playing it now? Oh, I thought you. Oh,
no,
wait.
I'll play it later because it's after. a thing that happens.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But what's funny is like this guy had so many rackets going at one time. I mean, this guy made a lot of money.
Well, the other thing is this. That's why. All right, I don't know if it's too early to introduce this, but he is a. So I guess, like a lot of the people in the mafia, he is a sociopath. Like he was just a straight up murderer that just so happened he was Italian and could join a organization that encouraged murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of those guys were like Jimmy. I watched the whole thing about Jimmy Conway and stuff like that, where it's like these guys are just murderers that were like, hey, this is great.
Yeah.
It's like a club for murdering.
Right.
Because the thing is, like,
it's like finding your calling.
It's like finding your calling.
When you do stand up for the first time.
It's like finding out you're a natural. You know? And so because what happened was he took that oath, like the oath with the burning card and everything, the saint to the saint, and then like almost immediately, not immediately, I don't know if it was immediately, I don't know the time frame. He like was, I don't know if I can say this.
Yeah,
he immediately was just started ratting.
He became
people
an
out
informant.
to the informant, like right away, which shows you he has no empathy and no allegiance to anything, which is the trait of a sociopath.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like this interview I'm going to show you. You can see the look in his eyes where it's like he's like obviously, and I think a lot of serial killers are like this too. They're so in love with themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what it is. I think that's part of it. It's a narcissistic psychopathic thing, like where you're like, you don't care about anybody but yourself.
Right.
And your own self-preservation.
Right. But you meet this guy and you're like, you're so cool.
Yeah.
I'm slightly.
We think he's cool because it's like he has something we don't have. We have empathy. We care about people.
Right.
We care. Our actions affect things. He's like he didn't give a shit.
That's a great point because I feel like when you meet a sociopath, you're like, wow, I want to be like you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I can't think of any specifically, but
you ever watch Iceman Cometh? You ever watch that on HBO?
No.
He was a guy who was a hitman for the mob.
Yeah.
He was a murderer. I think he murdered other people. Just murders of convenience where a guy cut him off in traffic.
Frank says we can't ever talk about him on the show because he's not a real gangster.
Are you? What? He's not Italian.
Are we gonna have a Hillary Clinton episode though?
Yeah, we are. The ultimate gangster. The ultimate gangster, Hillary Clinton.
You know, like his logic is ultimately.
And she's also a black gangster based on her outfits.
right. And her vernacular. The way she talks.
I sympathize with Greg though because like there's only two careers because like you can either become a mobster or you could just be like a poor coal shoveler. So I get it.
Well, he saw that when he was younger, but by the time he got older, it's like it's one of those things where he would have just went into some like bullshit job and then just had the urge to murder in that job.
Oh yeah,
so, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he would have just been like a guy who worked at who worked in a union, but then also was killing people at night.
Yeah.
He would have been. It could have been.
Yeah.
So it's almost better these guys join the mob because at least they're killing mobsters.
Yeah.
That's what like one of the cops said that in the
people,
documentary.
yeah.
He's like, we don't care that these guys blow each other away, which is kind of funny.
Which that is funny because actually the FBI agent that he worked with, helped him get away with some. We'll get into that a little later, but the guy helped him get away with murders, and he was like charged, for that. Almost went to jail for his whole life because
Basically,
he facilitated Scarpa murdering people.
Right, and the lesson here is that before the internet, everybody. Murder was legal. Like, nobody cared.
Right.
Nobody cared. Like all these
But
you
Frank
hear about all these
said that
FBI
too.
guys. What?
Frank said that too. He was like, like all these murders are going on, but nobody really cared. It was all criminals.
Because it was so. You know what I think it was? I think it was so hard to solve these things.
Yeah.
People were just like, "Hey, if you do it properly, you can murder whoever you want." All these. All
and
the
nobody
FBI
talked
guys,
to the cops. I mean, there was that whole culture of like, don't snitch or.
Exactly. Yeah, it was more of like on a personal level.
Yeah.
But now we're like, no, we'll use DNA to get you.
Some ambitious
science DNA.
Some ambitious 27-year-old woman in the FBI is going to be like, I'm going to solve this case. She like goes and interviews the guy's mother or something. She's got fucking shitty empathy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. She sees some matchbooks from a nightclub and puts it all together.
Yeah. I'm Jennifer. Jennifer Winters. I'm going to solve
She's
this
the Aaron
crime.
Brockovich of the FBI.
Right. Well, this is before they allowed women into law enforcement. They just didn't solve the murder because nobody gave a shit.
Nobody cared. They all just wanted to hang out.
Yeah. Right.
This first murder
Hang out,
he
eat
committed.
pizza, hang out in the squad car, eat Chinese food.
Yeah, just bullshit.
Yeah.
Break balls. And then like
That does seem
when
like
you
a lot
have
of
to
fun.
solve a murder, you solve a murder. Basically what they would do is this. This is the thing. Anybody could have been an FBI agent back in the day. All you basically had to do was like make contacts with these mafia guys and it's like, hey, we have to solve a murder. Who can you give us? And then they just go, Billy No-Nos. And all right, Billy, let's go. And that was it. There was no like they weren't like looking at lab tests and nothing like that. They were just like, who did it? They just asked their friends and they're like, all right, let's go.
And they go, and by the way, Johnny No Ears lives at 325 St. Mark's Place. in case you want. I know you don't like that guy.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing, though, about these feds, where it's like you feel like they start to develop friendships with these guys, and they like the life, and they're drawn to this world, and they want to be a part of it, and they want to help these guys.
They want to be a part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they're jealous.
Look at Donnie Brasco.
Look, I was just going to say Donnie Brasco. He wrote a book recently called The Way of the Wise Guy. Hey, everybody, the Sit-Down's going to take a quick break to do this ad. We will be right back. Here, let's do a fake ad to come back in.
Sure, go shoot for it. I'm still recording.
Right. You are? Okay. Hey, everybody, Blue Apron. Are you a stupid cunt who doesn't know how to cook? Are you some fucking dumbass who... Do you maybe work in tech and you make a bunch of money touching a keyboard all day and there's palm trees in your stupid office and you're a dumb fuck who finds the grocery store too intimidating? You go through, you go, oh, what are these Brussels sprouts? I don't know anything. I'm a fucking retard. Well, I make millions of dollars and I'm ruining the economy. Well, Blue Apron is for you. They send pre-made meals right to your dumbass door. You can leave it with your doorman who probably has to go back to the Bronx and support his 9 kids on $18 an hour. Use Blue Apron. It's a great part of this neoliberal fucking hell that we live in. That's blueapron.com. Use promo code Pistone. Joe Pistone, the famous rat, and get 10% off your order. Tell him Mikey sent you. Blueapron.com, you cunt. And we're back. Thanks for coming back, Sean. So
the crazy part is that was the copy. That you just read that right off the copy.
Yeah, they're trying to rebrand a little bit. You know, they're trying to switch up what they're doing.
Yeah, I like this bold new stance they're taking.
You mentioned Joe Pistone, though. It's so funny when you
mentioned Joe Pistone.
Earlier you did, though.
No,
earlier you did. We were talking about feds.
Donnie Brasco?
Anytime you watch interviews with him, it's like you can tell that he's not very well liked. I don't think he's happy with what he did. I know we're supposed to think of him as some hero, but
I haven't watched recent interviews with him. But like, you can't imagine that. I think he probably enjoyed being in the mafia.
Yeah, I think he did.
Do. And would he be considered a rat, or he was just undercover?
No, he was undercover.
Yeah,
and it was obviously brave what he did.
Well, he also he did a lot of.
He also sold out his own people.
Yeah, catch us up on what he did.
He was Donnie Brasco. We'll do an episode about him.
Okay. Yeah. Joe Pistone.
No, I'm sure none of them are probably content. You think any of them are content with what they do? You think any of the mafia or the feds or the mafia guys, they get to the end of their life and they're like, I don't know if the mafia guys.
Some of them are content. But there's a couple guys that like never went to jail, never got killed. Frank Costello.
Yeah, their families are set up with like $1 million properties.
Frank Costello never went to jail?
He walked away. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Chin Gigante tried to kill him, and then he was like, all right, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, he just retires. His family owns like $3 million estates now in Hoboken.
Really?
Yeah.
His family started Blue Apron. His granddaughter was like, I want to bring cooking, I want to make cooking easy for people.
I thought you couldn't walk away. I didn't know that about Frank Costello.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't allowed to walk away.
Well, I think
you had to pay him off.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Wow.
So... All right, so in the 60s now, Scarpa meets Linda Shiro. And in the 1960s, Scarpa meets Linda Shiro. She's 17 years old, and he falls madly in love with her. And they end up having kids together. So then they had Linda and another kid. I don't know. Linda was the daughter, and then some other kid.
Yeah.
So you could say that everything was going really well for Scarpa. You know, he had his hand in every little racket. He had 2 beautiful families. But things are about to change.
You think he probably just liked... Think about how much... That's another thing. You can tell he's a sociopath because he didn't... Guys who have two whole families, they just... Some guys probably like get excited off the excitement of being found out.
People, yeah.
But I think he just didn't give a shit. I think he just didn't care. Yeah. So it didn't affect him at all. He just did what he did, and it wasn't like he was like, "Oh my god, I'll get found out." Like he just was like, "All right, whatever happens, happens."
Yeah, and you can't really have 2 families anymore because if you're that guy being like, "Don't tag me in your photo," like that's not
right, exactly.
This was pre-Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be funny to see Greg Scarpa's Instagram account. Just him
making scungil with the girls. So in the 60s, the FBI was heavily involved in investigating hijacking, and the feds locked in on Greg Scarpa. They arrested him in connection with attempted hijacking. A week later, armed with a search warrant, they found 84 cases of stolen liquor linked to another hijacking in Scarpa's garage. For the first time in his life, he faced years behind bars. Now, the FBI had never flipped a made man before. The feds offered to throw out his charges if he'd inform them on his fellow mobsters. And it didn't take much persuasion.
Yeah, that's what they said in the documentary.
To agree to it.
Yeah, it did not take much. That's insane. It didn't take much persuasion.
I'm not a rat. What if we gave you a slice of pizza?
With extra toppings.
I'll do it. I'm in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How did that conversation go down? All right, Greg, we want you to work for us.
Fuck you.
All right, what if we get you like a trip to Disney World?
All right, I love Disney.
Yeah. He only makes
Can I get a character breakfast? Do I stay on the resort or do I have to stay off?
It's on the resort, and you get breakfast with the characters. You do.
They set him up in a Best Western like 10 miles from the park.
They get in a Econo Lodge.
Wait, did you ever go to Disney World as a kid?
I did, but we stayed in an Econo Lodge.
Yeah, but so did we. Yeah, of course. But I think you have to do that. It seems too expensive.
Well,
I just remember it was far from Disney World.
We weren't.
It was a hike.
Yeah, we weren't close, and we couldn't afford. We went to the breakfast with the characters, but we had to go on. We weren't there already. We had to like crash the breakfast.
That's such a fun thing.
Your dad snuck you in dressed as like in waiters' uniforms.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's not my son. It's Humpty. Humpty Dumpty."
Your dad dressed you up as a midget. They worked at the fucking buffet.
If anybody asks, ask.
I remember during the breakfast, my sister, by accident, she had like one of these Mickey Mouse pens, and she wrote on either Chip or Dale's like tooth, like his cloth tooth on the guy's outfit, and there was a
on
big
purpose?
ink by accident.
Oh.
There was like a big ink stain across his tooth. In the photo, you can see it. I remember being like, "We're gonna get kicked out of Disney World. We're gonna get sent home."
Your dad's like, "You fucking idiot! Wait my whole life go to Disney World."
That's what it was. We went on like 2 vacations. We went on 3 vacations when I was a kid.
Yeah.
St. Martin, which was the big one when I was older. Disney World when I was like 8, and then we went to like Washington D.C. when I was like, I don't know, 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
We didn't go on crazy vacations.
Yeah,
like these youngsters now.
So October 27th, 1961, Greg Scarpa delivers his first bit of information. He heard of 2 hijackings by fellow mobsters. He told them where the goods were stashed, and it was believed he was the first ever made guy that became a top-level paid informant. They were paying him, too. He was making a lot of money from the FBI.
He was making a ton of cash. That means he's making money from his mob activities and then money from ratting on those same mob activities.
I feel like he only made $66,000 over his
Wonder what his
entire
tax
career.
return looked like, guys.
So he didn't make
Am I right?
What'd you say?
Wonder what his tax return looked like. I mean, that would have been funny.
What's he claiming?
I was going to say, like, he didn't make as much. Yeah, he didn't make as much as he made.
I bet he released his tax returns, but Donald Trump won't.
Couple of crooks.
Yeah. I was
66 grand over his rat career.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
but that's like 660 grand now. Like that's like you have to like times it by 10 because you're talking about like the 60s when like money was worth way more.
Right. I mean, I feel
Mom,
like that.
I got a job. I'm making $47 a week. No one thinks. Anyway, it's so funny hearing old people talk about money. Like my grandfather was like, one day I worked for a butcher. I worked 12 hours, and the guy gave me $1.25. And I'm like, so that was good, right? Or it's good or bad? And,
you can't tell.
Yeah,
like, you don't know the point of the story.
Idea.
You're like, so are you saying work hard, or are you a sucker, Grandpa? What's happening?
Right. No, but the butcher fucked him.
Is that what the story was?
Yeah. Anyway, so now that he's making so much money, he moves his family out to a house on Staten Island. This guy was on top of the world. He's a criminal. He's an informant, and it's never going to end. Things are good.
That was like his heyday.
Yeah.
When he was informing and he was doing murders for the mob at the same time.
Yeah.
Like nothing was going wrong at that point.
Yes. This is I think the best part of the story. So in 1964, Scarpa takes Linda, his mistress, down to Mississippi, and she thought that they were just going on vacation.
Right.
But it was not a vacation.
No.
So I was researching this a lot. I mean, this is crazy. The story about the missing civil rights workers. It was Freedom Summer in Mississippi, 1964, and a bunch of civil rights workers went down to sign up people of color to vote.
Yeah.
And I'm reading the new Jim Crow right now. I've been reading it for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't think that like you're like, yeah, obviously I'm gonna try to be like woke now and make a big point on this fucking show. Like,
after you did all your Mexican voices before.
yeah, like what am I doing? I'm a fucking clown.
No, but go ahead. I want to hear it.
Yeah. This is your NPR moment.
What's that?
your NPR moment. Yeah, go ahead.
Who do we have to have on? We got to have on Will Winter to talk about
Terry Gross.
No, I'm just saying, like, the history of this country is very, very bad. It's bad than you could. It's worse than you could ever imagine.
It's awful.
It's like they would always actively try to stop people of color from voting or anything like that.
The same reason we talked about before with these mafia or these feds getting away with shit.
Yeah.
Everybody just got away with shit because nobody was watching. And there was no document of it like the internet.
There was no oversight.
Taking
the sheriff wore his fucking Klan hood to work.
Is that true?
No, probably.
Yeah, right.
No, but all the law enforcement were like in the Klan.
No, yeah, right, exactly.
So there's no oversight.
It's what Mississippi Burning is based on, right?
Yes.
But Mississippi Burning, it's Gene Hackman and it's feds that are in it.
Oh, okay. And they're like the heroes?
They're the heroes of the movie.
Yeah. So what happened was...
Yeah, and the sheriff was involved too, based on some of the information he squeezed out.
Yeah, he was the one that pulled these guys over. Well, these three civil rights workers go missing. Andrew Chaney. Let me just find their names here. Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner, and James Chaney. Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner. Son of a fucking cunt. All right. James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner. Now, Goodman and Schwerner were white, and James Chaney was African American. So they go missing, and there's no leads. The feds know that the KKK is behind the murders, but there's
nobody's talking.
Nobody's talking
because the whole town is in cahoots, basically, or like the power structure of the town is in cahoots. Like the sheriff
is basically like, well, why were they coming down here starting trouble?
Right.
I was watching videos like that where it's like, this lady's like, well, I think they brought it on their sales. Trying to get people to vote.
She's like, please don't kill me.
That guy's watching her somewhere. So President Johnson, now J. Edgar Hoover didn't like civil rights groups. He thought they were influenced by commies. So there's still people like the whole power structure of the country is still like, kind of.
Oh, sure. Up. Yeah.
And, but Johnson is like, you got to find those bodies because there was a lot of like, outrage in the north.
Because he wanted to keep
places.
His job.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what everybody's trying to do all the time.
Yeah. So the FBI can't find the bodies. They know that there's a burnt out car, but they don't know where those bodies are. So they send in our boy.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, they send in our boy, Gregory Scarpa.
All these gangsters do have a calling card too. Like they'll shout something like, "This is for Carmine." Right?
Yeah.
They had a full music drop.
Wouldn't that be a great like TV series?
The whole
Scarpa, FBI agent.
I also heard,
he told his daughter, he was like, I'm like James Bond, basically.
Yeah.
That's what he told Linda.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's like how a movie, there has to be about 30 scripts written about this in Hollywood that just never got made.
Yeah.
Or somebody's blocking it, like the family or something, because this is an amazing story.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
So he goes down to Mississippi. On the behest of the FBI.
Yeah.
Like it was an official, it wasn't official, it was an under the table operation.
They gave him money. I think they gave him a gun too.
I'm sure. Well, he probably just had him. Like he probably just had him with him.
Yeah.
Goes down.
But all the FBI guys that they interview, I mean, they all say like Scarpa was one of the toughest guys they ever encountered.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
just
think
tell by looking at it. Yeah, he looked like
his defense lawyer is always great. He's like, anytime he was mad, I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
That's the
scary.
thing. That's the other thing where it's like, I think as a guy, not to sound corny, but it's like a guy thing too. Like when you meet a real tough guy, you're like,
you recognize.
Yeah.
They're usually like not
the laws of the jungle.
Yeah, the laws of the jungle. There's not a lot of bravado. It's mostly just like there's a look, there's a thing to them, or like a tone in their voice. Where you're like, and then I've never gotten somebody mad enough to like try to murder me or something. But I'm just saying
exactly.
But you know what I mean? Like
you know who not to fuck with.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
There's a guy in your old neighborhood in Williamsburg. Do you know that guy? I don't want to say his name, but he hangs out at the place.
I know exactly who you're talking about. The big guy, tall guy. He looks like he.
No, I'm talking about the older guy with the tattoos.
Yeah. Well, how old?
The older Jewish guy. He's like probably in his 70s.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I will talk about it after.
This guy's
you
so
support
alpha
this, how
tough
that
he is.
you're
We don't want to talk
afraid
about his
to
name.
even
No, I
say
really
his
don't.
name on the
I do not want to
podcast.
say his name. And he's a nice guy. He was actually he helped me out with something because I was working in a moving company a few years ago, and I broke a mirror. And the guy I was working with was like the biggest scumbag, and he was trying to get me to pay him $80 for the mirror. And I called the owner of the moving company. I was like, he's trying to get me to pay him, and he's like, don't pay him. And this guy Kevin is like telling me he's outside my house, and he like sees my girl, and he wants his money. And like,
really?
yeah, he's
the
like
guy you were moving with?
The guy I was moving with.
Why would you pay
Yikes.
him? Why would you pay the customer, if anything? Why wouldn't the customer?
Because he was a scumbag. He was he was like just an idiot and a shithead.
Probably
and he's
worked
like,
on somebody else.
He's like, yeah, I'm outside your house right now. I'm like, where's my house? And he's like, I'm here. Trust me. He didn't even know where I lived. He was just like a dumbass. But it's
That's the thing about being. Somebody calls your bluff immediately. Really? What's
Dude,
the
I know.
address?
And then he goes,
I know the vicinity.
yeah. So I knew nothing was gonna happen, but I wanted to be safe, because like I was dating Aaron at the time, and I didn't want any, I didn't want her to get scared or anything like that. So I went to the place where the guys hang out, and they were like, "You're not lying to us, right?" And they're like, "I'm like, no." They're like, "Send him over here. I got his money."
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, send him here. Tell him I got his money. And then every time I saw this guy that I'm talking about, he would like, "Where's that fucking Irish bastard who wants you to pay him the money? Tell him I got it." He's like, you could tell he wanted to.
He wanted to
do something.
something.
Hurt somebody.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
I never knew that story.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How did it end up? You just never talked to him again?
I just didn't talk to the guy again because I knew he was like full of shit. But I don't know why I never told. I guess he just stopped bothering me.
He probably.
And I was like, well, I don't want this guy to be dead.
They wouldn't have killed. There's no way they would have killed him.
They wouldn't have killed him, but they would have got him off my back if
They
he
would've-
kept bothering me.
Yeah, exactly. They would have
And
intimidated
they're
him.
old. They're old guys. He's like in his 70s.
They're old guys, and some of them have been to like prison and stuff.
Yeah.
My
He goes,
landlord.
"Fuck that Irish bastard." they're like, his name's Kevin. What nationality is he? I'm like, I don't know, because that's important, I guess, to those guys. They're like, must be. They're like, must be Irish. I got his money. All right, and we're back. Hey everybody, Trunk Club. Are you a fan? Sorry.
So Mississippi.
All right, so it's Mississippi in '64, and so they send Scarpa down. Scarpa goes to this guy Lawrence Bird. He was kind of like the weak link.
Really quick, I'm sorry to do this, but
Yeah.
really quickly, do you
Please.
realize how insane it is to have a government agency to send a mafia capo down to do it on their behalf?
On their
Right.
dime. It's insane, but it's not that insane because when you like the whole town was in on these fucking murders.
Yeah.
It was maybe about like only one guy ever got indicted for these murders, but it was maybe like 20 people that were involved in this conspiracy.
Yeah.
It was like the town, like the KKK was like their fucking college football team.
Right.
Yeah.
And also like
The sheriff, because what happened was Cheney, Goodman, and Schwerner, they got pulled over by like a deputy, and that guy was in the KKK.
Right.
And then they held him for a little bit. They fined him like $20 for speeding or something, and then they left, and then he pulled them over again, and that's when everybody ambushed them and took them. And what was really funny was that it was two white guys and a black guy. The two white guys, they just shot point blank, but the black guy,
Yeesh.
yeah,
they tortured.
they tortured and beat
God
him.
damn, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, it's
These are
crazy. It
bad
also kind
people.
of lets
So
you in.
Then a hero came along.
I can be your hero.
But I mean, I don't know. Those guys.
Really.
Those guys were way worse than Scarpa. I don't know.
I think so.
Sure.
I really do think so. He had the rule, like the rule of like no citizens is like. It is kind of there is
No women, no kids.
There's a morality to that.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah,
a morality to that. Now,
Yeah.
all of them weren't like that. Like some of them would kill kids and wives. And everything.
Sure,
Right.
But, like,
and there was like a lot of innocent bystanders too that would get killed in like
yeah, and
drive-bys
you're
shit
ruining.
like that.
Yeah.
And then also you have the idea of like, yeah, but you're ruining families, and then
Yeah.
and you're upping the murder. It's like you're not good, but it's also like, what would you rather? Yeah. And on top of it, it also proves how divided the country was. Like the country's always been pretty divided, but we've just been connected by like technology in the past 40 years or 50 years.
Yeah.
So like the way everybody's wondering now about like, hey, why is the whole Alabama thing going on now? It's like, it's always been that way. Because I can only imagine what Scarpa, because the internet, but what Scarpa must have thought was like, fuck these Mississippi pieces of shit. Like
exactly,
he identified more with the FBI agents from New York than he did with the guys doing this shit down in Alabama, because he was probably just like, these rednecks. Like
he must have had some kind of contempt for them. Like he probably looked at me like, they're fucking poor.
Because their experience.
I bet he stuck out like a sore thumb too, though.
They might as well be from different planets, dude. Think about how you're from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. You're an Italian. You're the son of immigrants.
Yeah.
Think about how different a redneck sheriff is to you.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing you have to go by is like Smokey and the Bandit, the movie.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you have no frame of reference. So you're like, you might as well be from Mars.
Yeah.
So fuck you. You're doing this. I'm getting paid for this. See ya. That's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I get it. And they're also like, he can justify in his head like he killed these guys, even though he was incredibly racist. I guarantee you.
Yes.
So, but like, he probably it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Like his type of racism wasn't that type of racism. It was there was different gradients of this this evil. Like there's different gradients of evil.
He had a code of ethics.
His racism was like
don't date my daughter. Like that kind of stuff.
His racism was, why you gotta press 2 for Spanish? Fuck this, I'm calling every politician I know.
Pataki. I'm calling them all.
What politicians do you think Chaz Palminteri has access to, by the way?
Cuomo. What are you crazy? What do you think? Every Cuomo. Mario and Andrew. Yeah. He's going on speed dial.
And Chris.
They're number two. They're number 2 on his speed dial. Chris Christie, 100%, I guarantee you.
No, Chris Cuomo, probably.
Oh, Chris Cuomo, yeah.
That's a guy everybody's like in love with. So Scarpa goes down there. Yeah, he must have really stuck out like a sore thumb, like
gold chain,
eating and
toothpick,
no boots.
Yeah,
like just he had probably his dress shoes on.
Yeah. Like a. So we should play that clip of. I wish we had a Joe Pesci clip to play from My Cousin Vinny. What are you, a fucking world traveler?
Well, you got YouTube right there, baby.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to waste time looking that up. So what happens is Scarpa finds this guy Lawrence Bird, who was a KKK member, and I guess he was considered like the weak link in this conspiracy. So Lawrence Bird owned a television store. So Scarpa goes to buy a TV, and he's like, "Yeah, can you help me carry this TV to my car?" And he puts a gun to his back. And he brings Lawrence Bird out to a cabin in the woods and beats him for like 3 days or something.
Yeah.
And he doesn't talk at first.
He doesn't talk.
Yeah. Isn't it
shoves a gun in his mouth?
Government property too, right?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
it was FBI on cabin.
The FBI Airbnb'd it. Some Fed booked it. Frank a couple weeks ago.
They gave it 2 stars after that.
Yeah. Excuse me. There's a man's testicle rolling around the.
The view is great, but there was brain matter in the bathroom.
Oh, that's good. So so he beats Lawrence Bird for like 3 days. Doesn't talk. Threatens to castrate him. And that's when Lawrence Bird gave up the bodies.
Right away.
Yeah. They were buried in an earthen dam somewhere. And this is actually a really good story. I mean, like, it's sad because those civil rights workers, I mean, they were killed. And I think even the judge who oversaw the trial was like, well, they killed one and a Jew and a white guy. So I gave them what I thought they deserved.
Right. Yeah, he like qualified.
It was just some
way.
shitty, shitty Mississippi.
No, yeah, that was awful. And then, they didn't get they didn't get what they should have at all. Mm-hmm. But whatever. The whole thing, why? Because it was how many people were involved in the conspiracy? Wasn't it like the sheriff,
a lot,
the KKK members?
It
wasn't everybody in the
town,
but it was like a lot of people from the town.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Just for coming to get people to vote.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And that was all they were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, they were just trying to register people to vote.
Yeah. No, they saw 2 white guys with a black guy, and they were like, Bunch of maniacs.
Yeah. They never would have found those people either, right? They were like in a crazy GPS location, right?
Yeah.
Something way out, woods, 6 feet deep. Keep digging. type of situation. He
It's
got
just
him.
so funny him telling his daughter he's like James Bond.
He's like, I'm like, you know, like James Bond. I'm like the Italian James Bond. I'm like James Bond, but I make great sauce.
You know when James Bond eats 2 bowls of linguine with clams in one sitting? Yeah. Anyway, so and actually, like, apparently he was really proud of himself when he did that. It was like he felt good that he. I don't know. That's what they said.
I'm sure he did. I would feel good about it too. Think about it, man. If the FBI is calling on you, how would you not feel like James Bond?
Yeah.
They're literally, the FBI is going like this. They're going, listen, we can't get to these people because they were bound by laws. He's like, they're like, you're a maniac. You're not bound by laws.
Yeah,
Can you come help us?
Right.
How would you not feel like an above the law superhero?
You feel like a superhero.
You feel like Batman. You're Batman basically. You're Batman when in Dark Knight when he goes to Japan or China and he gets that guy and brings him back, but he just didn't bring him back.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm trying to think of a Batman reference, but I got nothing.
Just Greg Scarpa with his Batman voice.
Italian Batman.
He's like, I whacked him. Trying to think of
puts
mafia
bat wings
things
on his Cadillac or something. And like, yeah.
It's like Batman, but he's mafia. So it's like, forget about it.
So I don't know this. His first wife had 4 children, and his other wife had 2.
Oh, I didn't realize that either from the documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, you can almost say the guy had the perfect life.
Mike is so jealous of this guy's life.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. It just seems kind of fun. Anyway, well, another thing you could say that in a way Scarpa was kind of a feminist hero.
Oh my God! I can't wait. I am loving that. This is where you're going.
Yeah, Scarpa is a feminist hero.
Why? Because he defends his daughter from that driver?
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we kind of touched on it off mic a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, do you want to tell the story?
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Linda, but did you see pictures of her?
She was cute.
She was cute.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. I thought you were saying she was ugly.
Yeah, so did I. He means it because he doesn't want Greg Scarpa's ghost coming back and chopping off his dick. It
Just haunts my dreams. I wake up in a cold sweat.
just gives you AIDS.
Oh,
sorry,
Sean.
Oh,
God
can you
damn
edit
it.
that out?
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's all right. All right. Spoiler alert, everybody. Sean and his big fucking mouth. See, maybe you couldn't be in the mob. You can't even keep it a secret when someone has AIDS.
Yeah, you got to say he's got cancer.
Well, tell the daughter story real quick and we'll go back to it.
Yeah.
You wanna do
And then
that?
we'll get into the AIDS.
Yeah, then you
All
can
right,
wrap it up like
everybody.
that.
Greg Scarpa got AIDS. Wait, let me just find this picture of Linda. We'll put this on the website.
She was really hot
for the
even
Patreon.
even in the interview in the
when she's kinda
documentary. I'm
older?
like, she's kind of older. I'm like, she's still like, I like
She's
that.
so Jersey.
She's so Jersey in it or Brooklyn.
And you know what? Because you're from Minnesota, but like,
Yeah, she's super hot.
I have such a soft spot for like girls who wouldn't talk to me in high school. You know, like
Yeah.
white Jetta with a Roxy sticker on it and like tan and like yeah.
I like
Belly
like,
button ring
like
and-
Guidettes. Like I like
Yeah.
like Guidettes. I think are really hot.
Yeah. Because they were all blowing Nick Valenza and they wouldn't talk to me.
She reminds me of Meadow a little bit from Sopranos.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little
Because
more
that
dead in
vibe.
the eyes though.
The way you like it.
Well, you really do feel for Linda though, because it's like it's her father. She loves her father, but she's not only is she complicit in all the murders that he did, she's probably not respected by other mob families because her dad was an informant.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
So,
that's probably they probably live. That's why you didn't hear them talk a lot.
like Karen Gravano, it was kind of tough for her.
Did they know though, right? I don't think they knew he was an informant for
At
a
the
long
time,
time.
I'm sure they did, but it almost this documentary, you'd seem like, oh, they're operating on the outside of the system. Like you don't hear them talking about him and their families meeting up with other families.
Yeah.
It seemed like he just was a guy who worked for the mafia, but he was in it. Like it seemed like he was detached, which he was.
Right.
And we talked about that already.
Right. Well, he was a captain.
He was a captain, but I mean, like, they didn't talk about, like, oh, his closest confidant in the mafia. Well, they talked about guys in his crew, but he was ratting on all these guys. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Later on, I guess, so you'll get to that, I guess,
Yeah.
but, like, yeah.
I'm also like walking the line of spoiling what's going to happen.
Yeah. I know, it's hard not, it's
Like
hard
later
to spoil
on,
it.
he's right. We're not there
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
We're not there yet.
But talk about what happened with his daughter, because
Yeah.
that's a crazy story.
Yeah. So he had a
Because
lot of money.
we have a question about the story. We had a question off mic.
I have a question about the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because so Scarpa's
Don't
made
lean
a lot of money.
Don't lean too hard on
okay.
this piece. I feel it going.
This is a great thing about podcasting too. Just watch the table. It's from IKEA. It's old. Somebody asked me if I want to do this show in like a studio, but I'm like, why? That's not what podcasting is.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You're saying true to form.
You do it in your house while the dog's barking.
Yeah, we're avant-garde.
Yeah. So what happened was, so they're making a lot of money. Linda had fur coats and diamonds when she was like 6 years old, and Scarpa got a car service for them to go to school.
For her to go to school, yeah.
Yeah. So one day, the guys. Now this story is a little weird. There's some inconsistencies, and it doesn't.
Well, I think
really
we figured
make
out
sense.
what it probably is, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So Linda's going to school. Her brother didn't go to school that day, and the guy takes the car into Prospect Park, and he starts making advances at her, and she's
Basically trying to rape her.
Basically trying to rape her. And Linda says, "Oh, we don't have to do it like this." She's like, "Pick me up after school, and we can like go somewhere and disappear for the day."
For like a little kid, I think she was a teenager at that point, right?
She was
Or something?
I think she was 15.
15.
Yeah.
That's a smart.
So smart.
Holy cow, that's smart.
It's so
that's
great.
quick. That's quick mafia
That's
daughter
quick.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
She's quick on her toes.
Makes you think why these other rape victims can't be.
No, Mike. No, Mike. No, Mike.
At least we don't have to be the bad
I
guys.
saw that coming. I saw the wheels. I saw it coming.
Oh boy, we have to keep that, right?
No, I'm just saying all these girls never stop complaining.
Mike, we gotta stop.
All right, we'll take it out. You guys are laughing. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know it's funny.
No, that is very smart. It's just like my genius, the world will never see it. Okay.
Yeah.
So where should I? Okay, so yes,
She gets in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "We'll go somewhere." And so he drops her off at school, and she calls her dad. And what Greg Scarpa did, he goes, "All right, let's not jump to conclusions here." No, just kidding.
You got a mediator.
Yeah, he's like, "We're gonna call the cops and do this the right way. We're gonna alert the authorities. Let's not jump to any conclusions, and let's handle this. I'm gonna handle
Well,
this."
it's actually kind of interesting what he
Go
did.
through the law. He called the Special Victims Unit. He called Mariska Hargitay and Ice-T.
And they were 15 at the time as well, so it was kind of weird.
Oh my God.
Somebody tried to rape Greg Scarpa's dog. Yeah, so this guy.
No, so but it's interesting what happened because they call him and
This is where now I heard this story a couple different times, and it was different. It was a little different both times, but go ahead.
what I heard from the documentary I watched, the one you sent me, is that he gets his crew involved and they give him like a terrible beating. Like I don't even think he was there for it. I think they just found the guy.
That's
and
what
just
I thought
beat
too.
the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Like,
Then I also heard
into his
Scarpa
life.
beat the guy up, but I think it probably was his crew.
It probably
But
was his
anyway,
crew because they showed up like it was multiple people.
Yeah.
And then he gets word that the guy's beaten up.
Yeah.
And of course, for a murderous psychopath, that's not good enough. So he goes and finds the guy and he kills the guy. That's how I heard it.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
he goes to his daughter. This is how you know this guy didn't give a shit. He goes to his daughter and he's like, you won't see him again.
Yeah.
Ever
Yeah.
again. And she was like, I felt bad about the guy being dead, but I'm like, what were they supposed to do? Not tell him? It's like, no, yeah, you're right. Like you're supposed to, she's 15. You tell your parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
like you can't blame it. It's not her fault.
Yeah.
But
You're
you
not
do
sending your
kinda-
food back. It's fine to tell them somebody went
not sending your,
somebody
your
murdered
spaghetti
you
back for
or
being cold.
trying
Yeah.
to rape you.
But you do kind of feel bad for Linda a little bit because it didn't seem like she was, she said she didn't want the guy to die. It's
Right.
just a little
And I believe
weird.
her. I think because she has empathy. It's like watching
Yeah.
somebody with empathy.
Yeah.
Like qualified to themselves because it's their father that did the killing. So it's literally her going, I don't want the guy to die, but like I had to tell them. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're right. And
Yeah.
and also she must have felt like insane guilt when it happened. Like
Right.
that'd be a really interesting story. The movie
Right.
for this is through the
Mississippi.
eyes of the daughter.
Yeah.
Because they're like, they must have been super tight. The
yeah.
script is
Yeah.
through the eyes of the daughter watching her father be like a murderous killer.
Yeah.
And like qualifying it to herself, but also being like, I have,
Yeah.
I'm a good person. What do I do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The Woody Allen film would be through the driver's eyes. He's like the protagonist.
He's the driver. So every day I picked up this girl from school. Matt, that's
just trying to
great.
do my
That's
job.
so funny. Yeah. I was sorry, but she was so beautiful. I'm sorry. You just a knockout sitting in the back of that. sitting in the back of that car. I can't help myself.
Best picture.
So I get this job at a car service.
I had just broken up with my other high school girlfriend. Linda was just a knockout.
Yeah, that's what Coney Island's about, right?
What?
The new movie he's doing?
What's it about? I want to see it. Actually, it looks good.
It's Coney Island.
They're still letting him make movies about men who rape children. What is wrong with this fucking... Everybody's so full of shit.
Yeah. Oh, you're absolutely right. Everybody's full of shit.
Great director, though.
He's a great director. What you call it's great? Blue Jasmine? What was that one called? That was unbelievable. It was great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is annoying. What's
What's that?
Obviously, if you're a sexual predator, you shouldn't be allowed to work or make movies, and you should give the money back. But to see people be like, Louis wasn't even that funny anyway.
That's
well, then who is?
Well, it's like this 20/20 hindsight. Like you're lying. You're lying. You're just trying to bulk up your own case. Yeah. And it's like you probably called him a genius in a Facebook post 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's like
Woody Allen is a genius.
He is. You can artistically be a genius and still be a monster personally.
Yeah.
It doesn't change your talent.
I cleaned out his basement when I worked for Got Junk.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the weirdest thing you saw in there?
It was just a bunch of garbage that I
What's his garbage though? Like
some broken director's chairs and some kids' toys and stuff like that. He had a whole staff of people at his house too. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
No tip though.
No tip.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
And Sun Yi was weird.
Really?
Weird lady.
Shocking.
You wouldn't think.
No, I know.
She married her dad. She's strange. I mean, you couldn't have the conversation.
And you know what's so funny? I'm looking at the job order and I see the name. It says Sun Yi Previn on the work order, and the guy I'm working with is like, yeah, that's Woody Allen's house. That's her dad is Andre Previn.
Yeah.
And I had this fantasy that my partner's going to go, he's a comedian, and they're going to go, oh, send us your Conan set.
She's like, I got molested. You're like, yeah. Can I send you a video tomorrow?
Yeah. No, like her and him were going to be like, oh yeah, we would love to check out your comedy. We'll come to the Pine Box.
I like how Pine Box is your go-to.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's how that ended. But our question was this.
Why did they beat him up and then kill him?
Because I think Greg Scarpa wasn't there. And Greg Scarpa is the murderer.
Right.
And the other guys, they probably murder people, but for Greg Scarpa, it was personal for his crew.
Yeah.
He might have told them, just tune him up.
Yeah.
You know how they say, tune him up.
Yeah, and the crew probably knew not to kill him. That's got to be the pleasure of my psychopath.
It was probably
boss.
It
was probably just eating away at him, and he was like,
absolutely,
no, fuck that. He's got to die.
It's like that scene in Sopranos. There's a great scene in Sopranos. Remember that where he curbs the guy, but inside the restaurant.
Yeah,
because the guy comes onto Meadow in the restaurant and says, "You got cream on your face."
Yeah.
And he's drunk, and he wipes it, and his friend calls him out.
Coco.
And the next online, the next clip, is that what the guy's name was? Coco?
Yeah, Coco.
He comes in and just pistol whips him right away. It's crazy.
In the restaurant.
That's why people love that stuff.
Butch is eating dinner, and he's like, Tony, you're making a big fucking mistake here. But he's powerless.
He goes, you want some?
You want some too?
But here's the thing, it's perversely, people have those, you have these revenge fantasies. It taps into something. So yeah, that's why this guy Scarpa is so cool, because he taps into hey, what if I didn't live by society's rules? And that's exactly what he doesn't do. Yeah. Any of these guys, same thing.
Yeah. We've all been that angry we want to fight somebody. Then you think it out.
Oh, if I could, I would have murdered. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been furious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But another question is this.
Yeah.
And I think we figured out before, but you wonder, because it makes it sound like, oh, they got a driver for her every day. That's the way they made it sound. Mm-hmm. But I think they just got her. The guy must have not known who she was. That's
right.
Must have.
Yeah. It must have been the thing where she just ran out, because they make it seem like he put her in the. Because I think they did show video of him putting her in the car, and it's well, even if you saw him put her in the car, why would you do that? So
you
it's
seem to care a lot about a sexual predator.
What?
You seem to care a lot about
this
guy.
What I'm wondering is if you knew who her dad was, or which I don't think he did, why would you even dream of doing that? Because you would get murdered.
Right.
But I think what it is, it was just a random guy from a car service, and he was a scumbag, and he just did what he did.
You fuck up idiot, They had to.
Yeah. So that's probably it. They leave out a lot of details. That's why.
Yeah, sure. So now we're in the 1980s, and wait, did I want to say something about that? Yeah, no, it's very weird. Even if it wasn't Greg Scarpa, though. Oh, this is what I want to say. Even if it wasn't Greg Scarpa, why would you sexually assault a kid that you're driving to school? What was he gonna? Maybe he was gonna kill her too. I mean, who knows? What could have happened there?
Who knows? I think he probably just thought, he was just going to rape her and then just drop her. Yeah, what do you do? Rape her and then drop her off at school? It's like, but also, there you go.
But then a hero came along.
Dude, that's just back in the day. There was just lawlessness going on.
Yeah.
Nobody cared.
Prospect
Scarpa
Park was
is the
known
most
for that.
woke gangster. He's found civil rights workers and he killed a rapist.
He's going to Coachella next year.
Yeah. Do that. Make that the title. The most woke. The wokest of gangsters.
But even if I read an article once about a woman, and she wasn't saying it as like David Bowie sexually abused me. She wrote an article saying when I was 13, I lost my virginity to David Bowie, but I knew exactly what I was doing and I wanted to be there. And we both knew what the deal was. And I was fine with it. And like the point of her article was that things were different back then and kids thought differently. And I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that completely. I'm sure maybe she did, but like the way she was, because the way it came out like right after David Bowie died and he didn't get any, like all this stuff's going on now. It's like, he's not lumped in with it at all. Now, granted he's dead, but I mean like, people could still say David Bowie did this. Somebody just said David Cassidy sexually, and it's like, well, he's dead.
Yeah, well, God fixed that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But you know what I'm saying? Like things were just thought of differently. So like, this guy doing this, like back then, I'll just rape this girl and then drop her off at school. It's just batshit crazy.
Yeah. Like you got to go back and drive her home. And go back the next day for work, and he's
what was the thought process?
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap this up in a little bit, but so things, I guess things didn't end great for Greg Scarpa.
No.
A funny thing happened to him. Actually, a really funny thing happened. He
didn't. It actually is pretty ironic.
Yeah. He doesn't play by society's rules or the hospitals.
Well, his thought process just shows the levels of the depth of Greg Scarpa.
Yes.
Yeah. Because his thought process on why don't you tell everybody?
Yeah. Well, so in the 1980s, he needs a blood transfusion, and he told the hospital. This is the clip I do want to.
Oh no!
It was a real. Okay.
So he tells the hospital that he doesn't want to get public blood because he's worried about black blood.
Jesus,
going into him. I guess he's not as woke as we thought.
Civil rights hero.
Yeah, he's not really a civil rights hero. He's like, listen. Some of my best friends. That was his excuse. He found the guys. He found James Chaney's body, so he's like,
"Do you know why? You know what I did in Mississippi? Don't give me. You
want to tell me about racist?" So he's like, "I don't want any black blood." So he insisted that the blood transfusion come from one of his guys, and that guy that gave him the blood was a bodybuilder, and he was taking steroids, and that guy gave Greg Scarpa AIDS.
HIV, yeah.
Yeah, so he ended up getting HIV.
Yep.
So don't be racist, kids, or you'll get AIDS.
Yeah.
But wait, doesn't he know the history of Italian American culture?
Oh. It's a fact. Yeah. You see, Sicilians have black blood pumping through their hearts. and no, if you don't believe me, you can look it up.
Dennis Hopper.
I don't want to keep playing that clip. But
Dennis Hopper.
It's one of the greatest scenes of all time.
It might be the best scene that's ever been in a movie.
In a movie, it's up there. It's in my top 10, I think.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The opening to Inglourious Bastards and that is like two of my the best scenes in the world.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think the point of that scene was? Some people, I think, that's another thing you can argue about.
Yeah.
He did. Why do you think he did that? Like at the end, he says it like, "Oh, if I'm telling the truth, if this is true, then am I lying?"
Yeah.
But the real reason is because he was like, "I'll get killed faster if I do this."
Yeah, he knew it would bother him, and he wouldn't. It's like he died to save his son.
He died to save his own life from being tortured for another hour.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that was the whole point.
Oh yeah, he infuriated him so much that it's time to die.
It's such a great scene.
It's the best scene because it's like he knows he's dead.
Yeah, so
and he
knows
like, they're probably going to find where Clarence is too.
Yeah, he does. So he's like, "I'm not going to help you."
Yeah.
But the best is you have the. That's
but
the best.
I think he knew it would bug him, and he knew it would make him.
That's
snap.
the best walking noise in the movie ever. He goes,
"You're a cantaloupe."
I feel like he had to have pre-planned the last thing he was going to say to him to just know the most, outrageous thing that's going to eat at him.
Mm-hmm. I think he knew. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, he's like, he had that speech waiting.
Yeah.
He's like, if I ever run into a Sicilian that's mad at me and I want to die quick, I got this speech ready to go.
So here's a clip I want to play you guys. And Sean, I want to show you the video of this because it's like
just to see how crazy he is.
Day, Gregory Scarpa wanted to send a message to his friends and to his enemies that he would not surrender to AIDS.
I will show them the courage that I've displayed all this time, the bravado. I will show them that, hey, this is still me. There isn't anything on earth that I will hide from or back up from. And I certainly won't do it with this either.
and he's talking about the AIDS virus.
No.
He almost cured AIDS. I'm
going to treat that AIDS virus like it's Jimmy Nine Fingers. Yeah.
I'm going to treat the AIDS virus like it's a Mississippi Klansman.
What if you scare your AIDS away, it goes away? That's the cure.
He's terrifying.
Yeah, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
And like the look in his eyes too, where he's like,
yeah.
Oh,
he's like,
it's just dead in the eyes.
he's in love, but he's like in love with himself.
Oh yeah,
The bravado.
absolutely.
I see a little bit of Stallone in him.
Absolutely. Well, even if you look at the fact that he's giving the interview and apparently towards the end he gave a press conference. Remember that when he was like suing the hospital? I think?
Yeah.
When he had the blood transfusion.
Yeah.
It's like even that alone is like, oh, you love yourself. You wanted to be famous. You wanted to be something. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sued the hospital for $300,000.
And he won. No, he sued it and he got a settlement of $300,000.
Oh, okay. Didn't he sue for like $6 million or something?
I don't know what he sued it for.
Classic ask high.
Yes, Your Honor, for giving me AIDS, I'm seeking $6 billion.
I'd like to sue them for giving me the blood that I gave them.
Yeah, right.
Of my friends.
For using the blood that I specifically requested that was contaminated with the HIV.
The balls on this guy.
It was untested.
Balls, yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, that's great. Yeah. There's so much more to get into,
Yeah.
but we gotta
do
come back
part two
another
then.
time. All right. Hey, everybody, are you a dumb fuck who doesn't like to go to CVS to buy razors because you need them delivered to your door like some pussy? Check out... I don't want to... Check out Thomas's Razors. Check out Justin's Peanut Butter Cups because Reese's isn't good enough for you, you fucking scumbag. Ooh, I want an organic peanut butter cup. Hey, I'm Justin. My dad gave me $1 million to start making my own peanut butter cups. Yeah, it's pretty fucking sweet. I just sit here and make my own peanut butter cups. I'm a millionaire now, too. What a fucking hell we live in, huh? We got to go farther left. We got to be socialists. We got to vote Bernie. We do. Bernie 2020.
We're all Bernie bros.
Everything really is so far right, you know? Even liberals are too...
It's really not.
too corporate.
Because even it's not all far.
I'm a socialist, bro.
Everything's so far right or so far left.
Everything's too far right.
Oh, I
I'm
see
saying
what you're saying.
even Democrats are too far right.
Oh, you're way more
I see what
progressive
you're saying.
than the most left Democrats. You're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Edit all this shit out. All right, so we're going to have to stop it right there. But please listen to the Defend Your Movie podcast. I really like it a lot. Sean and Farrah do a thing. And do you want to plug anything?
No, just the podcast. And for New Year's, when does it come out? Probably in a couple weeks, right?
Tomorrow. We're gonna release this tomorrow.
All right, but I'm in Woodstock on Friday night with Tim Dillon at the Colony Theater, and then for New Year's I'll be at the Comedy Attic, which is a really great club if you live near.
Oh, that's fun.
Bloomington, Indiana, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And listen
We're
to Defend
doing
Your
that
Movie.
gig on the 16th together, right?
We're at the
Kunal's gig.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he asked me to do it.
that's coming up this weekend, right? Or no, that's this Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, cool, perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
So go to that.
Go to that. It's in Forest Hills.
Oh, okay, cool. Anything? Oh, Matt's got Matt's got a movie podcast as well, the 20-year-old movie
20-year-old
podcast.
movie podcast on iTunes and Stitcher and all that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing it.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll have you on again to continue this.
Let's
the
do
story
it.
going.
I'm really
and,
excited
cool.
about it. I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
All
Thanks,
right.
Matt.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Wait. Sorry, can we do the ending again? Can we do the ending again? I want music. This guy's the best.